Yo, Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. USC is starting to build potentially a nice little pipeline with my home state of Colorado. Love to see it. Colorado, we do not have the necessarily high-profile, high-ranking high school recruits like California, like Texas, like Georgia, like Florida, but we've got some gems in Colorado. And it's a passionate football state. You know, my alma mater, I've said before, for those of you who listen, I went to Mountain Vista High School. And just this past season, we went to the semifinals in state after being a down program for a few years and back-to-back years of going far. So good to see my alma mater rising back up. And maybe we'll see a USC offer to some Mountain Vista players eventually. But just this past week, USC did offer 2 offensive linemen from the state of Colorado, which, you know, that seems to be the position of targeting, at least for USC. When you look at last class, you have Cannon Smith, who they got the commitment from Colorado. Brett Colajay was originally from Colorado, obviously went to IMG Academy, where we all kind of know him from. And then even Mark Bowman, originally from Colorado before moving to California and transferring to Modern Day. So nice ties there. And ironically enough, all those players I just mentioned have ties to the 2 offensive linemen that USC ended up offering just this past week. So first starting, they offered Valor Christian, which is from my hometown of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. They were not a school when I was in high school. They were created the school was built and founded after, but now they are kind of a rival of Mountain Vista. You know, it's a mile away from each other. They are right down the road from each other. It's where Christian McCaffrey went, among some other really good athletes there. So Reese Russell of Valor Christian just received an offer from USC. He is, if you look at him, I mean, he kind of looks like Brett Colajay, the style there with he's got the full mullet going on, at least in his Rivals picture. He's the 50th ranked interior offensive lineman on Rivals industry rankings, a 3-star prospect, the 3rd overall prospect in the state of Colorado. Shows you, you know, a little bit lesser tier talent than California when a 3-star is a 3rd ranked, but hey, this is a talented young man, 6'3", 260 pounds, and certainly someone that could be a nice addition to this 27 class, depending how they go in their offensive line recruiting. The other offer they gave was to Jackson Roper, 6'4", 290, also an interior offensive lineman. He is the number 1 prospect in the state of Colorado, the 14th ranked overall interior offensive lineman. He does crack the Rivals top 300 nationally, 246, and he is a 4-star player going to Cherry Creek, the reigning state champions of the state of Colorado. So I think these are 2 solid prospects. Russell released his top 6 recently. This is according to Adam Gorney of Rivals. This was before USC's offer. So his top 6 were Washington, Oregon, SMU, Florida, Miami, and Georgia. And so this is what I always say. 3-star kid. What I say he was overall in terms of 50th overall interior offensive lineman according to Rivals Industry. Look at the schools that have offered him. Washington and Oregon out west. SMU in Texas, plus obviously others. Florida, Miami, Georgia, now USC. So that tells you how maybe schools view him as a higher prospect than what the recruiting services do. So if there's ever any doubt you have on like, man, why is USC offering a 3-star kid or this or that? Like, look at the other offers that these kids are getting. Like, that's a real tall tale sign, and kind of vice versa. I've talked before about some guys that, man, this is a 4-star kid and his best offer is like a Mountain West school. Like, that tells you a little bit of how maybe the schools view someone versus the recruiting services. So I think Reese Russell, certainly a highly touted offensive lineman that will be interesting. He says this to Adam Gorney. I'll put the link below. Me and Breck, talking about Brett Colajay, have a great relationship. And Cannon, who I played with. Man, Cannon is from Valor Christian High School. So I have some great relationships up there, and I know my top 6 just came out, but I wish I could make it a top 7. So I think that tells you all you need to know about how he views USC And ultimately, I think USC will be in the running for Russell's commitment if they so choose. When you look at Roper, also knows Collegiate and Cannon Smith, but also, as I mentioned, Mark Bowman having Colorado ties, knows Mark Bowman as well. He says, Breck, Cannon Smith, Mark Bowman, and I all played youth football against each other. They all played on one team, and I was on another. Cannon Smith and I played travel baseball together for several years, and Breck and I both trained at 6-0 Academy, which is a really top-end, I think it's mainly just for offensive linemen kind of training camp. I think it's based in Boulder, Colorado, by a former offensive lineman who, has done some stuff with CU and, played at CU his playing days. And so it's a really renowned kind of training program there that all these guys have kind of gone through. So, So, those are kind of the biggest there, as I mentioned, with Russell's top 6. When you look at Roper, his kind of biggest links right now are Texas A&M and, of course, Oregon. So USC obviously will be in a battle with a lot of big contenders there, but I think their ties, this isn't everything. These kids are choosing their own path, of course. But when you have some familiarity with some buddies and guys you want to connect with and guys that you respect, like that does play a little bit in recruiting, especially when you're from a state that doesn't necessarily have a ton of Power 4 prospects and a ton of Power 4 players committed elsewhere. Like when you play in the Trinity League, like you're always kind of going to know someone no matter where you go, right? Like if you choose an SEC school, if you choose Oregon, Washington, obviously USC, UCLA, if you go to Michigan, Ohio State, like someone in the Trinity League will be at one of those schools. So you would have either been a teammate with them or played against them at some point, and there'll be some familiarity there. When you're in Colorado and you're a 3-star who's the 3rd ranked player, you're not going to know a lot of people, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing by any means. I moved out to California, Long Beach, and didn't know a soul. But that does kind of help a little bit. And it does give you a little bit more, I guess, confidence when you're like, oh yeah, look at, Breck and Mark and Cannon, look at how they're dominant, look how they're getting developed by Zach Hansen and Chad Savage and the culture and the weather in LA. Like, I'm going to go join that. I'll go join those dudes that I know and have some fun out there. So I think these are good. Obviously, you can tell my passion for Colorado. Maybe that'd be nice to build a little mini pipeline with the state of Colorado that we can kind of get 1 to 2 commits from that state every single year. I'd love that. And then when I go home to visit my family, I can always, see some USC either commits or some potential prospects when I'm out there, maybe doing some high school visits. So would love that. That'd be great. So let me know your guys' thoughts. This offensive line class will start to shape up a lot more. We'll see how many we get in this class after a pretty big offensive line class in 26. This is one that I haven't really put a number out there yet. I know I've talked a lot about, hey, defensive backs, probably 4 to 6, wide receivers, probably 2 to 4 max, running backs, probably 1, quarterbacks, none or 1. Offensive line, I haven't put a number out there yet. So we'll see if it's in that 3 to 6 range. I've always said the whole class is going to be 15 to 20. So maybe I'll make maybe I'll do a video here soon of just breaking down the totality of what I think the class will be kind of position by position in terms of numbers and amount. So maybe I'll do that and that can give us some little clarity there. But here's 2 big ones from Colorado. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you, family. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, Ryan Dyrud here from the USC LAFB show, and I've got to tell you about a brand new feature by our friends at Sleeper. Hopefully you've been using Sleeper all this time, but if not, you've got to go download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, and they've just added a brand new feature, which is so much fun. So on top of the great DFS feature, which if you don't know, pick any player across any sport. You choose 2 to 8. Just choose more or less. You can stack, like I said, 2 to 8 players and win some real money potentially. So, you pick more or less yards, more or less touchdowns, more or less points, whatever it might be, whatever sport vertical you use. That's the DFS feature. But now they just launched the team pick feature. So now it's as simple as picking which team you think will win each game. So football season now over, obviously. Unfortunately, we got a long wait ahead of us. Don't worry, we got you covered here at USC LAFB for all your USC needs. But You can still go and choose the Lakers whenever game they're playing. You can choose the LA Kings. Any sport vertical still playing. Baseball, just around the corner. Dodgers, World Series champions, going for the three-peat. Yeah, once that season kicks off, or I guess that's the wrong word to use, but once that season gets going, you can now choose the Dodgers in their game, whichever team you think will win. So go to the Sleeper app. Download it today. In the tabs, you can toggle between players or teams when you're on the picks tab. It's that easy to find. And today, if you're a first-time user, so if you haven't downloaded it yet, I don't know what you're doing if you watch this show, but go download the Sleeper app today and you get a free $20 entry for picks, whether that's team picks or player picks. Make sure to use our promo code USCLAFB. So no deposit required to get this free $20 entry, but when you use that promo code USCLAFB, you're going to get a free match bonus up to $100. So you put in $100 in your deposit, they're going to give you a free $100. You put in 20, they'll give you 20 free to play with. So you're doubling your deposit right off the bat plus the free 20. What more could you ask for? Sleeper app today. Use the promo code USCLAFB and tell them Ryan over at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.